Hi beauty and welcome back to my channel. I'm Vanessa Schwenk and today in this video I'm gonna share with you what I learned with adopting a puppy and having a dog, and more focusing on, and even though that is not my usual thing, I'm focusing on things that maybe people don't say, because I wish that people would have told me that before. And I feel like so often it's being glorified having a dog, and I'm like 100% sure it's one of the best things you can do if you love dogs and wish for a life companion and someone. But I feel like still people over romanticize it and don't really share the things that may not be as cool or as you thought in the beginning. And I feel like if this can help someone just trying to make sure they know what they're getting into before getting a dog and adopting a dog, I would love that to really help, because I wish people would have told me that. So let's jump right into it. I have written it down in my notes, and this is actually based on an article that I wrote for Virago Spring some while ago, so you can even like read this. I think the first and foremost important part is not every dog is simple. The thing is, you see, or usually you only see the simple dogs, depending on, of course, like where you are, where you live, if you have any like dogs in your family or whatsoever. But I feel like you usually outside in like cafes or restaurants or even like parks that are very like crowded or whatsoever, you usually just see the dogs that are like super simple, are not reactive, are very good in those kind of environments. And that is not the truth for every dog. There might be dogs that are reactive, they struggle with some kind of environment, that they are feeling anxious, or that they're the ones that constantly bark and whatsoever. So every dog is different, and you just have to be aware that your dog, depending on the breed and depending on what backstory your dog has, it can literally be anything. And sometimes you don't know. Like, for example, Pepper is a mixed breed, so we didn't know what to expect. Of course, you have some kind of like things where you're like, oh yeah, it could be more like that or that. But at the end, every single dog is different and every single day is different. And you just simply won't know before how the character of the dog is actually developing. The second thing I want to mention is that actually your own feelings, fears, insecurities, all your feelings are basically your dog's. There are dogs, and I have the experience with Pepper, because we have a bond, that he reflects those feelings so much. So whenever I feel anxious in a situation, he's probably gonna be reactive. If I'm very in a good mood and kind of like not being bothered by anything, he usually deals with it very well. And you just have to be aware of that. And sometimes you can't just control yourself like that. It is not possible. And there might be other dogs that don't react that much, but there are dogs who can definitely react like that. The third thing that I want to mention is, and that is like the most obvious point of them all, a dog costs a lot of time and money. It is so much that goes into it, and especially if you like want to make the best out of the time with your dog, and it's like even have like good dog trainers, or you know, doing dog sports, having a great equipment for the dog, having things that your dog actually needs, food and whatsoever. It could be that he develops allergies and that you have multiple vet like bills that you have to pay, it can cost you a lot of money. So just always have that in mind. And I feel like at the end of the day, you have to make that time, and especially in the beginning, it takes a lot of your time away that you maybe don't have time to spend as you used to, because your dog may not be able to stay at home alone by itself for a long time. And you put in so much effort in it every single day that at the end of the day you probably will feel exhausted, especially in the beginning. And I feel like especially in the beginning, that really was something that bothered me, not because I didn't know it, but I didn't really think that it is that time consuming and that you can take him anywhere, and that everything takes longer, getting ready to go outside, taking everything with you, and then stuff like that. So the next thing I want to mention is especially for people who are not as social in terms of being extroverted, who tend to be more introverted, I feel like a dog is a part of your life that is a very simple introduction to other people. So whenever we're in the park, and especially when he was a puppy, people are like, people love puppies, and I mean, I can't blame anyone. Puppies are the cutest thing on earth. But they are being so attracted to the puppies so that they're actually people just go to you and talk to you and want to make conversation and know everything. And if you're not up for that, then might be difficult from time to time. I mean, I think it gets better the older your dog gets, and therefore, in the eye of a lot of people, gets less cute. So it gets better. I always feel like the next thing that I want to tell you that people kind of know, but maybe kind of need a reminder, that you can't be as spontaneous as you were before. And I know that some people will be like, oh yeah, I don't care about that, I like to plan. I totally feel you, but still, it's simple things just quickly going there, and then even being, let's say, at a friend's house and just say, oh, I'm just gonna stay longer. You always have to have in mind, okay, how long is my dog home alone, and when does he need to go outside and stuff like that. So you always have to consider that, even though you are still a free person to decide whatever you want to do. But I feel like it does take away this kind of feeling of being spontaneous. The next one is that the more helping hands you have, the better. The more people you have who can support you with having the dog, who can dog sit from time to time, or that you have a great place, especially if you go somewhere, because there can always happen something where you actually need to have that support system, because life just happens. So, and it's always good. And if you don't have that from friends and family, which, sometimes isn't possible if they live far away, or even, I don't know, some people have allergies or have their own pets and they don't get along. There's so many reasons. Then you have to think about actually having paid dog sitters or professional people who can take care of them. That is another financial burden that you just have to consider beforehand. Everything is possible. You just have to think about it before, and ideally make a plan and try to set up a good support system for you. I feel like another part is that it does take a long time to get the dog that you want for your needs, and it's a constant learning, and training never really ends. And I love that personally, because I love a good challenge. For me, I feel like Pepper is exactly the dog that I needed, because he kind of pinpoints at things that I should be working on. So that's a good part for me, but it does take time. He's now 2.5 years, and we still have some issues, and there's some that maybe will never go away, no matter how hard we train, no matter what we're doing. But others, they're still we see process, and we see things that we can improve, and it's not all about tricks and stuff like that. It's more about actually integrating a dog into your life and how you want to live your life. That is quite the challenge. That is how, because a dog like, he doesn't know things, so, and it's very hard to learn how to communicate, and I feel like it's definitely worth it. Like, my dog gave me so many good things, especially in terms of my work-life balance. I'm so glad that I have him. Otherwise, I would work even more, and I think that wouldn't be good for my body and my mind. So I'm so happy, I'm so stoked that I have him. I love him to death, but still, it is a lot of work. It is very time consuming, and at the end of the day, you don't know what you get. It's kind of like, it can be Pandora's box. Like, you don't know what you're in for, and you can even get your dog from a breeder and think, oh yeah, that's a perfect dog, and his character can develop completely different. So just be aware of that and work with it and get the help if you need help. Like, it's totally fine to ask someone who is a professional and getting help and working on issues that we have. I really don't mean this video to make you not adopt a dog. That's absolutely not my intention. Dogs are amazing. I just feel like those were the things that I wish people would have told me before, that those dogs that you see outside, they are great, but they may hide the other truth of dogs that are at home, that dogs that are not in restaurants, dogs that are not out in the park playing with kids, because there are dogs that just struggle with it. There are dogs who also struggle with living in a city, or because there are like so many things happening. So just be aware of that. But I'm pretty sure with work and dedication and love that you're actually gonna have a great companion. I would always again, get him and get a dog. I can't imagine my life without a dog, but it's definitely a very time-consuming companion that came in my life, and probably the one that, yeah, needs the most attention sometimes, which is hard, but it's also very, like, it gives you so much back. Like, the love that a dog gives you is just undeniably great. So I hope this was helpful for you, my like whole rambling and babbling, and I'm sure I forgot, even though with my nose, I'm pretty sure that I forgot a million things. Let me know in the comments what your experiences were with getting a puppy, and thank you so much for watching. And if you're struggling right now with your dog, you are not alone. And if there's anything I can do, just write me a DM on Instagram, and we're all in this together.